I have finally tried Hi-Fi Rush for the very first time, and all I have to say is, I am sorry. I am so sorry. And also that I'm mad. Like, really mad. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Canadian Guy here, and I am back with a video that really makes me a little mad. Just a little mad. Hi-Fi Rush was a game that came out by Tango Gameworks. The reason why I wanted to try it out is because, well, if you haven't heard, Xbox had decided to just shut the studio down. Now, I'll be honest, I had zero previous investment into this game. That's why I said I was so sorry. All I heard is that it was a rhythm-based game and started to garner a shocking number of downloads off the Game Pass store. I barely even knew that it was actually kind of a platformer. Now, leading into the Game Awards, I was hearing month after month that it was winning a bunch of awards on social media. And at this point, I hadn't seen anything beyond just the cover art of the game. After it had finally won a Game Award, I decided to take a look at the trailer. And again, the trailer seemed really cool. So I put it on the mental back burner, as I do with a lot of games, and continued on with my life. Fast forward about 6 months and boom, Xbox shuts the studio down. All I thought was, how could a game that garners that many Game Awards in such a short amount of time cause the studio to shut down a few months later? It made very little sense to me. Once I found out it was actually now on PlayStation Store as well, I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a try. Additionally, the Digital Deluxe Edition was on sale, so let's give it a shot. And wow, where has this game been all of my life? Let's start at the beginning. You play as Chai, a self-proclaimed rock star who decides to enter an early program that replaces parts of your body with cybernetics. Doesn't really explain why he needs his arm replaced, you just see it in a sling. Now, the player finds out quickly that the program is just sketchy at best. However, the head of this program decides to be an absolute dirtbag by taking Chai's MP3 player and chucking it away, calling him and it basically trash. Little did he know, though, that it would land on Chai during the ever so gentle procedure of removing his arm. Now, Chai wakes up with a new robot arm and a brand new rhythm in his heart. The MP3 player basically is fused with Chai, and he now moves with a brand new beat. Literally. The company quickly finds out about the MP3 situation and considers Chai as a defect. Because of this, they want to erase him and fix it. However, Chai's new arm and his brand new heartbeat, get it? Heartbeat, anyway, allows him to make a guitar-like beating stick out of scrap metal and goes to town on these robots. Eventually, we find out this sketchy company, to no one's shock and surprise, has many skeletons in its closet and has an evil plan in motion. But Peppermint, this Jinx and Harley Quinn looking gal over here, is leading a task force all of herself, yeah, just a one-woman crew, apparently, to take down this company. However, Chai teams up reluctantly with Peppermint to try and take down this evil company, along with a small other group of friends that we find along the way. Now, when they said this was a rhythm-based game, I was confused. I didn't know what to expect. Was it like Guitar Hero? Just Dance? Dance Dance Revolution? By the way, if you know that last one, you may qualify for an elderly discount. But the more I played, the more I was amazed. The music that plays in the background in each level is in sync with the entire environment. Yes, the environment literally moves and shifts to the beat of the song. You also see Chai's foot tapping to the beat, along with him snapping his fingers to the beat of the song. Quite literally, everything is timed to the beat of the track that is on the level, and it is amazing seeing everything moving into a continuous beat according to each level's music. Now, the combat also follows this exact beat. It's really hard to explain, and it's really something that you have to get a feel of when you actually play the game. But to try to explain it very basic and very quickly, if you button mash, you'll do fine. But the combat follows the beat. So if you button mash, you're going to still hit on the beat. But if you rhythmically tap your attacks to the beat of the song, not only will you do bonus damage, but your attacks will have additional damage and special effects added to them. Now, when I started, I basically just button mashed like an ape smashing a controller. But as I played more and more, I started to understand the rhythm and the timing, and I started to get really, really good at chaining moves together, and it looked and felt amazing. Speaking of amazing, do you see this art style? It is such an awesome looking game, and I couldn't stop exploring all the levels. Like, looking back at some of this combat, it genuinely looks like art. And yes, while the story seems pretty, basic, the writing is actually hysterical. Whether it's banter between Chai and Peppermint, the evil bosses declaring how they will crush you, or even the robots you find in the overworld just minding their own business and complaining about their day-to-day lives.
Hey, quit it! I'm working here! No, you're not!
Also, just because there are a lot of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro fans on this channel, Chai's voice might sound familiar to you because he's voiced by Robbie Daymond, who was Hunter in the Spyro Reignited trilogy and Pinstripe in the Crash Bandicoot franchise, as well as a number of other characters in both the Crash and Spyro Modern games. Now, I have not finished the game yet, but thus far I have felt nothing but joy while playing it. And with that joy was a constant build of rage. Every time I would compliment the game, all I would think is, Xbox killed the studio. Every time I laughed at some of the banter and comments, I thought, there will never be a sequel. And every time I let out an LA Knight style, yeah, I just pictured the game being chokeslammed into Undertaker's casket. So I had to go online. There had to be something to explain it all. There had to be. How could a team make such an awesome game and then have the entire studio canned within a couple of months of it winning so many prestigious awards? Maybe the game development was way too expensive. Maybe it didn't perform as well as we thought. Maybe the studio forgot to send Phil Spencer a Christmas card? Just something, anything to explain it. And you want to know what I found? Just more reasons to be mad. According to Metacritic, the game scored very, very well, both by critics and users. Then, in April 2023, less than 4 months after the game launched, it boasted over 3 million downloads. It then went on to win a number of various game awards from various publishers, and then it won the prestigious Game Award hosted by Jeff Keighley for Best Audio Design at the 2023 Game Awards. So you would think that not only would this be grounds and the definition of a successful game, but one that would deserve a sequel too, right? And you would be right. Well, you were right, not anymore anyway. According to Jason Schreier, Tango Gameworks was in the pitching process of a Hi-Fi Rush sequel. And you want to know what they were met with? Their studio getting shut down. Yep, that was the answer. Additionally, not only did I not find a logical reason to why Tango was shut down, but I found nothing but praises from Xbox executives merely months and sometimes even weeks before the studio was shut down. Here's a quote from Aaron Greenberg, a VP at Xbox Games Marketing. Quote, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. When Tango Gameworks was celebrating its 14th anniversary not that long ago, Sarah Bond, president of Xbox, said, Happy 14th, here's the many more. Yeah, more like here's to not many more. Speaking of Sarah Bond, after the news broke that Tango Gameworks was immediately shut down, in an interview, she was asked by Dina Bass about how a studio could do so well in so many metrics, including winning a large number of game awards, but be shut down less than a year later. This was Sarah Bond's response.
You know, one of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form. And it means that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like there's no one size fits all to it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and ensuring that we're setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
It's truly a talent to say so many words and yet mean nothing at all. But if you think my sass is being way too much in this video, why don't we take a look at one of the tweets from Tango's Gameworks game director, previous director, where they said, not enough, with a whole shelf of game awards from various publishers for specifically Hi-Fi Rush. Ooh, this is getting spicy. Now, a question that we have to ask nowadays that both game devs and people need to know: what makes a successful game? Seriously, I know this sounds like obvious, but seriously, what makes a successful game? What metrics are used to determine what lives and what dies? According to every public metric and directly from Xbox's own chicken lips, Hi-Fi Rush surpassed all expectations and metrics. Yet, here it is, buried dead in Undertaker's casket, just over a year after its release, and just a matter of weeks after the PS5 port was announced and dropped. There has to be a clear and distinct way for developers and users to know what goals need to be met. The people making these games need to know what will allow them to keep their studio doors open while also making games that they want to make as much as possible. I understand that there needs to be a happy medium between creativity and business. I totally understand. But if you are going to hold the requirements of what makes a game successful and keeps the studio doors open, all that's going to happen is the studio's just going to focus on keeping those doors open. And all you're going to do is bury the industry in nothing but constant, soulless, copy and pasted the same game over and over again, jam-packed with microtransactions, along with overworked employees, just to make sure that the company stays afloat. And all you're going to do is bury creativity. One of the biggest tragedies out of all of this, unfortunately, is that we will most likely not see a brand new Hi-Fi Rush ever again, at least not anytime soon. Sure, another team could pick it up and make another one, but if that was the case, then why would Xbox shut down the studio that made the game? Now, Hi-Fi Rush isn't the only platformer-based style game that Xbox seems to have permanently shelved, but also Banjo-Kazooie. But Banjo's comeback somehow is a lot more possible than you may think. It's just also a bit more complicated than you may think. If you're interested in finding out about that, check out this video right here. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.